Winter-type seasonal affective disorder is a type of mood disorder that happens at the same time every year. It is frequently associated with symptoms like loss of drive and energy, prolonged sleep, increased food intake, cravings for carbohydrates, and weight gain. It is abbreviated as SAD or SAD, which was that on purpose, and researchers also call it fall-winter depression. The specific causes of SAD haven't been completely figured out, but there are many suspected contributing factors. The researchers in this review study listed having a genetic predisposition, a phase shift of the circadian rhythm due to a decrease in light, and a dysfunction of several monoaminergic neurotransmitter systems. Monoaminergic means working on monoamine neurotransmitters, so that means like serotonin, dopamine, epinephrine. If diagnosed, treatment usually starts with bright light therapy or BLT, another great acronym, and or pharmacological therapies. Bright light therapy tries to rectify that shift in circadian rhythm that comes about because of the decrease in light. According to current guidelines, bright light therapy is a therapy of choice for SAD due to the known influence of insufficient light exposure in the winter months, and its effectiveness has been proved by numerous studies. In addition to light therapy, SAD treatment and prevention also includes pharma intervention that seeks to address dysfunction in the neurotransmitter system. This review looked at the effectiveness and safety of lifestyle modifications as alternatives or supplemental treatment for SAD. The researchers were looking for a reduction in depressive symptoms using psychiatric scales after implementing a lifestyle modification. Some of the lifestyle modifications they were looking at was nutrition changes, exercise changes, outdoor time, and sleep. But the researchers felt that they didn't have strong enough results from a statistical standpoint. That doesn't mean that the modifications didn't have positive results in the studies that the researchers found, or that these modifications were disproven to be effective, but there are certain statistical measurements you can perform on data groups that strengthen the confidence of your results, strengthen the confidence of your conclusions based on that information. But if you have too small of a data pool to pull from, the strength of your conclusions would be considered lower. So some people might disregard studies that come to that conclusion, but in my opinion, it can be exciting to see the possibilities in the gray. Is there really a strong correlation between improved SAD and this lifestyle modification? What would make me believe it without a shadow of a doubt? What would convince you that a lifestyle modification would be effective? Would it have to work on every single person at your job or at your school, every single person in the country and the world? Or would you believe one person's personal experience? Where's your line of confidence? It's an interesting question to ask yourself with any topic. These researchers would like to see bigger sample sizes to make sure results aren't just by chance. They would also like to see reports of adverse events in these studies. Because safety wasn't explicitly addressed, even negatively, the researchers don't feel comfortable making a quote unquote safe statement about treatment recommendations. This doesn't stop them from letting us know what they found. It's like an actually helpful disclaimer before we look at their findings. They suggest that people might prefer lifestyle modifications as opposed to bright light therapy or psychotherapy or even pharmacotherapy because it gives the patients a feeling of empowerment. Lifestyle modifications, there is less fear of side effects, especially in comparison with pharmacological therapy. Nutritional changes generally included protein rich, vegetable containing food combined with complex carbohydrates and as few processed products as possible, which honestly sounds like any good nutritional recommendations. Another study suggested a Mediterranean diet, increased fish, more antioxidant intake, or even a keto diet. There is conclusive evidence on physical activity and its positive impact on mental health. So the researchers were wondering, is that the same relationship specifically for SAD? In one study, normal morning training sessions helped with reducing depressive symptoms as well as phase shifting the circadian rhythm, and these effects lasted 7 days or longer. Other studies looked at training in normal light versus bright light, and the bright light was more effective in reducing SAD symptoms. Assessment or impact can be difficult as well because a lot of these suggestions exposes the patient in combination. For example, sports programs. Studies have shown a positive result, but is this because of the increased light from being outside? Or is the light no effect? Or is it an added bonus? It can be hard to tell. This lends itself to experimental design. How would you set up a test to make sure you could compare the effects of a sports program and light therapy? Sleep deprivation is also considered an effective treatment for non seasonal depression, and a study concluded that it could be as effective for SAD. Sleep deprivation causes a short term boost in dopamine, but this effect cannot be sustained long term. Lifestyle changes like music therapy, mindfulness based therapy, strengthening social life connections, or reduction of environmental pollution are all possible modifications that the researchers would like investigated more. They want to be able to have more data and more strength in their conclusions so that they can make sound treatment recommendations. This interest in lifestyle modifications is motivated by the great therapeutic potential of these changes. These modifications tend to be more safe and they have good patient endurance, so they're a really easy add on to conventional forms of treatment.